So here's the best campaign setup if you're looking to run Google Ads for personal injury lawyers. Now this video is designed specifically for agency owners or law firms that are wanting to learn how to run a profitable PI accident campaign. And so my name is Jordan and I run a Google Ads agency specializing in generating high quality phone calls for local businesses, including law firms. And so here are some of the results that we've gotten for our clients. We actually work with law firms all throughout the US. Here's an example of the Albert Legal firm. We generated over 2,000 calls within 1 month for his criminal defense and family law. He does family, divorces, criminal defense. Within 30 days, we generated him over 2,000 phone calls. He's located in New York. We have Monge and Associates, where they focused on car accidents, and they have multiple offices in different states. We generated them a total of 723 calls. We have CETA, the Accident People, where we generated 141 calls within 1 month of working with us. And here is an email from one of our clients. He was actually able to generate $100,000 from his first case coming from our Google Ads system. It's clearly worth it just for that single case. I think he spent, it says here, he spent about $10,000. He generated not only that $100,000 case that he got settled for, but he also had 4 to 5 cases that are still pending. So he was able to sign multiple cases off of the 10K ad spend with the system that we had set up for him. Okay, so if you are looking for me to personally mentor you on how to run Google Ads, setting the system up for you, I can definitely help you how to do that. Or if you're looking for my agency to get into your Google Ads account and crush it within the first 30 days, if not 7 days, we can actually start generating you new calls, new clients within that time frame. And we're able to promise that because we already have a system that works. We're already getting results for our clients. We basically take that same system and plug it in for you, and that's how you're able to skip the learning curve and start generating results a lot quicker. Now, here's why law firms love Google Ads, okay? It's not just personal injury, but just law firms in general. We know why. We all know that Google is important. We need to be ranking organically, or we need to be at the top of the page on Google. And people aren't searching personal injury lawyer just for fun, right? They're actually searching it when they are in a car accident, bitten by a job, hurt on the job, they maybe slipped, they fell, and they're looking for someone to speak to right now because they want to know how much their case is worth, right? So they want help right now. And so they're not scrolling on TikTok or Facebook. And this is why Google Ads alone crushes it for law firms. And this is why they're able to generate a whole lot of money and have a consistent lead flow coming in and not having to rely on, third-party vendors where you're having to go through shared leads. You're not having to go through Facebook leads or Instagram leads where these leads never actually pick up the phone, and your intake team is just busy, calling these people up that never actually get turned into a case, okay? So with Google, these people are calling you on the spot. They have the intention, and it's just much easier to do that. So how do we set this up? Okay, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how to do this. Okay, so when you're running your Google Ads, you want to set up a search campaign, and the goal of the campaign is leads. Very straightforward. Okay, we want to generate leads from your platform. The campaign type, search, it's gonna be a search campaign. Networks, this is really important. You want to make sure that these both are unchecked and they're turned off. Okay, you want to turn off display and search partners under networks. Google is really tricky. They do try to hide a lot of things, so you want to make sure you click on all the drop down menus and just making sure you're seeing what Google is already applied for you. Okay, and so Google is really tricky because they want you to spend the most money on their platform, and they want to have the most control over your ads so that you can spend the most on their platform. Google is one of the most profitable businesses in the world, and they do this because they get their advertisers to spend so much money. Okay, so by turning off some of these settings, you're gonna be saving a lot of money, you're giving less control to Google, and you're gonna be actually getting your costs down and generating more leads, maximizing your budget essentially, okay? And so for location, you wanna target by specific cities, zip codes, or radius, depending on how big of an area your office is in, if it's populated, if it's not populated. You wanna obviously target enough area, wide enough to cast an array where you can search volume coming in, okay? If you live in a small town and you just target, I don't know, a 10-mile radius, 15, 20-mile radius, and you're not getting a whole lot of traffic, then that just means you need to target wider, okay? So that's pretty straightforward there. For language, English. Now, with the bidding strategy, what you want to do is you can start with maximize conversions and then later switch to target cost per action, okay? So what maximize conversion is that you're telling Google to go out there and bid for you to generate you as many conversions as possible. Now, a conversion for your business in this case would be leads, okay, or would be phone calls. Phone calls or contact form fills, right? If you send them to like your website and they fill out a contact form, they become a lead, that is a conversion. So essentially generating leads. And so the more data that you have with Google, so the longer you run ads and you're running ads with Google campaigns, essentially you're buying data, okay? The more data that you have, Google's algorithm is gonna get smarter over time. So it's gonna know, oh, you want more phone calls, you like leads, okay? And they're gonna go out there and bid accordingly to generate as many conversions as possible for you. Now, there's gonna be a couple other options like maximize clicks, impression shares, and as a service business where we're just trying to generate leads, that's not the bidding strategy that we're trying to go, okay? So just stick with maximize conversions or go with manual cost per click, which is hidden in the beginning, but after you publish your campaign and you go into your settings, then you'll be able to see the manual CPC option for you to pick from, okay? So those are the two that I recommend when you're first starting out your campaign. And then later just switching to target cost per action, that just means that once you have enough data and you know what your cost per lead is, let's say, your cost per lead is $300, okay? You pay $300 and that's gonna generate you a phone call or a contact form fill. So what you can tell Google is, hey, go out there and find me leads at $300. And Google will bid accordingly to get you those leads for $300. It gets a lot easier as you get more data because Google's AI and their algorithm is really, really smart. The more data that you have, the better your campaign performs. So the longer that it performs, it's gonna be more consistent and improves over time, okay? So location targeting. I don't want you to target the whole state or the whole country, that's for sure, depending on your budget, obviously, right? If you want to run through your budget really quickly, then that's one way to do that. So you want to use radius targeting or target specific high intent cities or zip codes, okay? Depending on how populated your location is. And then exclude any areas where your firm doesn't take cases, okay? So if you've ever hired on another marketing company and you're getting leads that are outside of your area, then you're simply not excluding the areas that you don't want. Okay, so you can exclude specific areas, specific cities, states, or whatever, where you don't want to generate leads from or where you don't want your ads showing up, okay? And then with the specific high intent cities and zip codes, what you're doing is that if you know a specific area just, generates a lot of volume for you, a lot of leads come from maybe the city of Los Angeles, just a lot of car accidents going on, then you might want to target that specific area. Or maybe you're a smaller law firm and you're like, you know what, Los Angeles is way too expensive, way too competitive. I'm gonna stick with cities or whatever outside of Los Angeles or certain parts of LA, right? So you can go that route as well. Now, here are the keywords. It's very simple when it comes to targeting keywords, okay? You want to just stick with high intent keywords. And there's two match types that you want to be using, either phrase match or exact match. So phrase match are going to be keywords that are in parentheses, and then exact match are going to be keywords that are in brackets. So I don't have an exact match example here, but let me go ahead and type one in. So car, accident, lawyer, let's put it that way, okay? So someone has to search up car, accident, lawyer in that specific order for your ad to actually show. Now, over time, Google has gotten more loose with this, even though it says exact match. Your ad's still gonna be showing up for things that are relevant, that Google thinks is relevant to your keyword. What I would like to probably stay away from is broad match. Broad match is just gonna generate you a lot of searches that Google thinks is what you're looking for, but what you're really gonna get is a whole lot of people searching for similar law firms, okay? So they might be searching for your competitors and your ad might show up, and that's not what we want, right? We want people who just wanna speak to an accident lawyer who's been in an accident to see our ads, okay? So my pro tip is to avoid broad keywords like the word just lawyer or the word accident as well, okay? That's just too vague. It's gonna generate you too much traffic and you're not gonna get high quality leads from it and you're gonna be burning through your budget, okay? Now, how do we filter our searches? How do we clean up our traffic that is clicking on our ads, okay? So we use what's called negative keywords, and these are a must add, okay? And we actually have over 5,000 negative keywords in our campaign for our clients. So take a look at your own campaign if you're running one right now or if your marketing company is running for you. And if you don't have more than 1,000 negative keywords, then your searches that are coming through are simply, it's not gonna be relevant, okay? You're getting too many searches that aren't high intent for your business. And so you can Google for a list of negative keywords. You can ask ChatGPT, ask AI for negative keywords for your firm. But words that you want to use here is cheap, free, pro bono, school, job, hiring, boring do-it-yourself questions like who, what, where, when, why, how, and you're gonna filter out a lot of people who are just researching and people that are wasting time, okay? You want people as high intent as possible. When we're using Google Ads, we're paying a premium price, and so we want premium results and premium leads, okay? And so we wanna make sure that these are all in place in order for you to be successful with your Google campaign. Now, here's some tips for ad copy, okay? You wanna highlight things such as free consultation, no win, no fees, millions of dollars recovered to add credibility and trust for your firm. You're available 24/7 around the clock. And then maybe you want to be local in their area, right? So if you're in Miami, you put Miami personal injury law firm or things of that nature, okay? And then you simply want to have assets like site links that you could set up, case results, about the attorney, contact us, FAQ, call for a free consultation, you know, get maximum compensation and things like that. So just really think about incentivizing the person to choose your firm over someone else. I see a lot of firms when they run Google Ads, they run just like a lot of generic ad copy like #1 personal injury experts, top rated personal injury lawyers, right? So we wanna stay away from generic. Yes, we can use it, but we want to put ourselves in the customer's shoes and incentivize them to call us, okay? You should always be thinking, why should they pick our firm over someone else, okay? Assuming that they don't know either firm, all right? So think incentives. And then you obviously want to set up call extensions. Those are a must. And if you, by adding a call extension, you can set a schedule to just business hours only, and then you can track calls as conversions that are 60 seconds plus, okay? So what that means is that we can literally tell Google to only track people who we're on the phone for at least a minute or longer to track that as a conversion. And so what Google is going to do, and their AI and their algorithm, is that calls that come in that last under 60 seconds, Google is going to start bidding less towards those, okay? And they're going to go towards more for people who are on the phone longer, because we know that if you're on the phone longer with someone, they're more likely to be a qualified lead, a qualified case, okay? And so we can really bid towards that or tell Google to optimize for these phone calls or more high intent, more qualified type leads, okay? And then set the schedule for only business hours only, because you want to not let it go to voicemail. You want some sort of robo person picking up the phone, or even AI picking up the phone. You want a real human person with sales skills that understands your business picking up your phone and then booking these leads in for the consultation or whatever it is, okay? So business hours only. You don't want to be spending money for leads to be missed. Really, really important. So here, landing page must-haves. This is gonna be the bread and butter. This is what's gonna help you separate you from every other firm out there. If you're sending traffic to a crappy landing page, then you're simply just not gonna have a successful campaign. And so for our clients, on the low, our landing pages are converting at 20% minimum, okay? And we've seen it go up to 30 to 40% conversion rate, which means for every 100 clicks that you're getting on your ads, on the low, 20 of those people are turning into leads, and up to 30 to 40 of those clicks are turning into leads for your business. I've seen a lot of Google campaigns where they are converting less than 15%, less than 10%, which means you're spending on 100 clicks to only get, 10 leads out of that. And so we can literally triple to quadruple the amount of leads that you're generating with the same amount of budget, just by having a high conversion rate. In order to do that, we gotta have a solid landing page. And so the must-haves for landing page, the headline needs to speak directly. So injured in an accident, to speak to a lawyer now. You need to have a strong call to action above the folds, which is, call for a free consultation, call for a free case evaluation, and things of that nature. And then you want to have social proof, right? You want to have results, reviews, profile about the attorney. Why should they choose you over the other firm? And then lastly, you don't want to have a menu bar. You don't want to have distractions. You don't want to have pop-ups and chats and, external links that's going to take you to your social media profiles or videos of you dancing and things like that, okay? We want to be very, very straightforward and, help the customer journey from clicking on your ad to giving you their information, okay? So no distractions, just get them to call or submit a form from your website. Now, here's what's powerful, and it's optional but powerful, okay? You can run a retargeting campaign. So you can run some sort of display campaign or YouTube retargeting and target people who have visited your landing page before, but they didn't convert for whatever reason. You can use testimonials, case results, based ads, right? So, share testimonials, share your results by retargeting these people. And this is a very low cost way to stay top of mind with your people that haven't converted into leads for your business yet, or maybe they haven't turned into a case. They became leads, but they're still shopping around maybe and kind of talking to different law firms. Well, by doing this right here, you can stay on top of mind. It's going to be a really, really cheap way to generate new cases for your business, okay? So this is the only time I would actually recommend that you use Facebook and Instagram. We already talked about YouTube, but talking about Facebook and Instagram, we can retarget these people on those platforms as well. So Facebook and Instagram is great for retargeting because maybe they Googled you and they got distracted and they want to scroll on Facebook and Instagram. Well, now you can show your ad on those platforms, and they just saw you, but they didn't convert, and they're seeing you again. They're much more likely to convert now. On average, it takes about sometimes it can take 8 to 12 personal touch points for them to turn into a lead for your business. Okay, so that's why retargeting is so powerful. Now here is a bonus tip for you. You want to track real conversions. Don't just track clicks or form fills or anything else. Okay, none of that matters. You don't want to track cost per click, metrics that don't really matter. What you want to track is actual phone calls that your campaign is generating. Okay, form submissions and then booked consultations and then cases that retained cases, I should say. And what you want to use is CallRail, What Converts, or any similar, some sort of call tracking software to do that. But you want to track what matters. Don't get so caught up in what was my cost per click today, how many clicks I got today, how many impressions we got today or this week. We want to focus on the overall campaign's performance, okay? So when we focus on the overall, the big picture of things, that's what really matters, not the little things, okay? And if you want to get really, really optimized, that's when we can start looking at the details. But as a business owner, the most important metrics is what you're actually generating. Okay. Now, if you want this setup done for you, you can apply and book a call with my team to see if we would be a good fit for each other. We can literally plug in what's already working for our clients, and you can start generating new cases within 30 days or less. And if you are maybe a service, you are a media buyer or an agency owner, and you're looking to get mentored and you want me to teach you my system, so that way you don't have to, hire another marketing company, or maybe you want to improve your own results as an agency. I also do mentorship. I'm gonna leave both those links in the description. So if you're interested in just having me work directly with me, crush your Google ads, help you teach it, and get your essentially better results with Google, then I look forward to working with you.